Hello boys and girls, Mr. Giomini coming to you with a little bit of examples for two con skills that were assigned recently that caused a little bit of confusion. I want to help alleviate some of that confusion. Let's take a look. First one. Now, unfortunately, this has no scratch pad available, but because of technology and Active Inspire, I can write on this. Now it says each tick mark on the number line represents 1/4 or 1/4. Move the orange dot to the place on the number line that represents 2/3 times 3/4. Now, I'm going to write 2/3 times 3/4. You notice I did use the multiplication as an x. Now, a couple things we can do here. When you're multiplying fractions, you just go numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. So I go 2 times 3 gives me 6. I just multiply straight across. I'll put a little dot there to show I'm multiplying 2 times 3. And then I go 3 times 4. Well, that gives me 12. Now, I'm hoping that all of us see that we can simplify 6/12. Their greatest common factor would be 6. I'll divide both numerator and denominator by 6. That gives me 1/2. Now, remember that answer of 1/2. I'm going to do the same problem just a little bit differently. And remember we had an answer of 1/2. I'll write 1/2 over here just so that we can remember what that final answer was. Let's see if my pen can write for me. That'd be great if it cooperates. Uh-oh. We have a glitch in the matrix. And where are we here? Let's go here. Let's go back to con. Where are we at? We are lost in space. There we go. All right. Sorry about that. Now, go back to the same problem. Let's go 2/3 times 3/4. Now, another thing you can do with multiplying fractions and dividing fractions we haven't really addressed yet is to look at the diagonals. And now you don't multiply the diagonals, you find their common factor. Well, if I look at 3 and 3, their common factor is 3. What I'm going to do then is I'm going to say, what do I multiply 3 by to get 3? That is 1. So now this numerator is 1, and this one will be as well. Now look at the other cross numbers. And I tried to cross reduce. The greatest common factor for 2 and 4 is 2. Not least common multiple, I'm doing greatest common factor. So 2 goes into 2 once. 2 goes into 4 twice. And if I multiply now my new numerators, which is 1 times 1, that gives me 1. If I multiply my new denominators, which is 1 and 2, that gives me 2. So I have 1/2. Notice, 1/2, 1/2. Now it says to move the tick mark to 1/2. And it says each tick on mark on number line represents a quarter. So look, there's a quarter. There's a quarter. Is that a quarter? So each tick mark, oh, but let's see. So that's not really a tick mark. It's these that are tick marks. So that's a quarter. That is a half. So 2/3 times 3/4 is 1/2. All right. Let's take another one. Let me erase my things there. Now, next one says each tick mark on the line represents a half. Now our new multiplication problem is 3/5 times 1/2. Now I'm going to immediately look at the numerator and denominator across or diagonal from each other. 3 and 2, they do not have a factor in common. 1 is not considered their common factor because 1 goes in everything. 1 and 5 do not have a factor in common. We don't have to worry about cross reduction. We now just simply multiply. And I will go 1 times 3 will give me 3. 5 times 2 will give me 10. That is 3/10. Now it says the tick mark represents a half. Now let's see here. What's half as far as tenths? Isn't that 5/10? Correct? So if I were to find equivalent fractions, I think 5/10 is the same as 1/2 because I can simplify, and I can now know their cross products is 10 and 10. That means they're equivalent fractions. So I'm guessing that these are moving by fifths. 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5. Awesome. Now, we also know that, well, actually, I'm sorry. These are not moving by fifths, they're moving by tenths. 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10. There we are. And then 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10, 10/10, which is the same as 1/2. Now my product for 3/5 times 1/2 was 3/10. So we need 1/10, 2/10, 3/10. All right. Okay. Take a look at the next one. Now it says, what is 3/10 of 5/6? So they give me an illustration of here. I have 5/6. Now notice what has happened. They have the same 5, 6, and they broke it up into what? Tenths. So they took that 5, 6 and broke it up into tenths. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 10 tenths is the whole of 5, 6. Now notice what they said, 3 tenths times 5, 6, and then they shade in that area. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Now what does that necessarily mean? What could that possibly mean? So let's just try the multiplication like I was doing before. So if I have 3 tenths of 5, 6, and let me change that. I've been using the x, so let me continue with that trend, and I'll put the x there for the multiplication symbol. Now, same thing we were doing before. I want to immediately look and see if I can cross reduce. So let me see if I can actually make these numbers bigger for you so you can see a little bit better. So now we're saying, hey, I have 3 tenths of the total, which in this case is 5, 6. I have 3 tenths of it. Now I'm going to look for some cross reduction. Well, 3 and 6. I'm looking at the opposite numerator denominator. 3 goes in 3. 3 is a factor of 3. So 3 goes in 3 once. 3 is a factor of 6. It goes in there twice. 5 is a factor of 5. It goes in there once. 5 is a factor of 2. It goes in there, what? How many times does 5 go into 2? That's twice. So we have 1/4. Now, you're going to say to me, I don't see how that's 1/4, Mr. Giomini, because that's 3 there. Well, let me start to now break in. So there's a chunk of 3. There is another, could I do 1, 2, and 3? Is that another chunk of 3? Is that another chunk of, oops, let me go over one, excuse me. That would be another chunk of 3. Now, where's that other chunk of 3? Oh, if I had this broken up, that'd be the other chunk of 3. So notice I have one grouping of the 4. That's why I have 1/4. Let's go back up here, type in my answer, 1/4. Hey, all right, we're rolling. Okay, let's take a look here, another one. The area of the figure below is 1. So that means the area of this whole thing is 1 whole. That's what I have 1 whole square here. Now the purple striped rectangle has a width of 1/3. So the purple striped rectangle has a width, so from here to here, it's 1/3. And you can see that it's 1/3, 1/3, 1/3. The height going from here to here, so this is the width. This is the height. Now, what is the area of the purple striped rectangle? Now, notice what we have here. We have 1/3. Oh, that's 1/2. We have 1/3 and times 2/3. Now, no cross reduction could occur, so I just go numerator times numerator, which is 2. Denominator times denominator, which is 9. Now, let's take a look. 2/9. Notice what I have here. It's a 3 by 3 array, so that means there's 9. In one whole, there's really 9 squares. And of those 9 squares, how many where this shading overlaps? There's 2. 2 out of 9. 2/9. Hope this helps you out a little bit with this skill. I will attempt to make another one for the other skill coming up soon. Let me double check my answer. All right, take care. Have a good one.